Okay, here we are once again. Sorry for the small delay. We are now at normal latency, so hopefully less buffering. Be quite nice. All right, so let's show off some more stuff. Cool. Go in. See what else we can show off. Let's show off computer graphics. That one I'm very, very, very proud of. That one is fantastic. So this is kind of the headlining track for what's it called for from my next EP that's coming out. It's called Good Things in Bad Times, because these are not the best of times, and these songs are about finding good things in these not so great times, like good friends. And computer graphics is about playing video games with my friends just all the time, usually like boys Aaron and James and Brian, and sometimes others like Jared and other people we've met on other servers. It's usually Minecraft or Gmod or whatever, but it's about those experiences, just playing video games with my friends. That's all it's about. So yeah, it's one of the things that has kind of kept me sane in the quarantine times, as they are called. So let's play it. And we're going to skip over to this part right here, because it's got guitar and that's pretty cool. So yeah, I did all that guitar myself. That is something I'm very proud of. It's actually played through a tube amp that I got not too long ago, back in January-ish. And yeah, very cool amp. This is also my first song in the style of future bass. And because of that, I have a whole bunch of people that are very hyped to hear it, so that's good. This song was inspired by I don't know if anybody else watching right now has heard this song. I'm sure you have. It's a pretty popular song. It's called Adventures by Subtract and Hyper Potions. It's a really good song, and I was introduced to it by my friend James a couple years ago. It's a very, very, very good song, and this was heavily inspired by the guitar part and just kind of the flow of it. So yeah, it's a very good song. Yeah, it's just generally a very upbeat song. So we're gonna go in. Let's see what Charles is all about. Oh, by the way, so the bells in that song, I don't know if I forgot if I showed off the part with the bells, but bells were from my analog synth, my Gorg Prologue that I spent so much money on. It just sounds wonderful and beautiful, and it has so much life to it, and playing it is like, it's like talking to someone. It's a wonderful instrument. I should demo it at some point. Oh wait, I have. You should watch that video. It's fantastic. Yeah, let's look at Charles. Name of this has basically no significance. It was actually given to me by a viewer of a stream that I did on Instagram. So yeah, let's listen. I'm really, really, really proud of that drop. There's also this is where the sauce comes in. That's what I like to call it. I call it the sauce. Sauce, usually for me when I talk about sauce, that's just like a shaker or some kind of thing like that. A prime example of sauce is, I'm gonna go to my external drop right here. I go to Hyper. This song introduces much sauce. That's what I like to call it. This song is fantastic. What we do is, whenever I used to drive around with my friend Evan in his van. His van had a really, really good, like, super bassy audio system, and whenever all of us would pile in the car and go get dinner or, you know, drive to the Renaissance Festival or something, or we would stay the night or something, we would listen to this song on the amazing bass boosted stereo system, and it sounded great. So yeah, I'll just play it real quick. I'll just play a little bit of it. This is already released, by the way. You can go listen to this on Spotify or whatever your platform of choice is. It's like minimal sauce. That little nice snap. It's pretty good. And the next part is where the real sauce comes in. That's real sauce. That's what I'm talking about. That's sauce. So I also want to show off. So this is a little teaser of a Impulsivity Extended. That's what I'm calling it. That's the album with all the extended versions of everybody's favorites. Of course, I had to put this song in there because it has so much sauce. It is undeniably saucy. So I added more sauce to it. I'm gonna show off this little part right here. This is the breakdown. So let's begin at the end of the main section. And then in come the little plucks. I don't have my my face cam on right now, but if I did, you would see that I'm totally grooving to this. Gonna turn on my okay. Let's make that smaller. I'm way too big, but I'm grooving to it. There we go. There's the sauce. That's the sauce. Sorry, I just wanted to show that I was totally grooving to that. Also, that was a really gnarly sound effect. Oh, that's gnarly. So the thing is, this little like sound effect I have going on here, I forget which serum it is, but it's this one. It's completely random every time. I have no control over what it's gonna sound like anytime. It always sounds different. Always different. What does it sound like from here? Also, this bass is just gnarly. Yeah, this part is just the sauce because it's got the horn section, you know, the it's kind of dissonant chord right there. That's what I like to call the atmosphere right there. That's the atmosphere. What's that? Is that this one? Yeah. That's got like the phaser on it too. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's the atmosphere. So there's that, and then there's just the cool plucks. And if that it has the effect of on its own kind of sounding out of time, but really there's just a swing to it. That's just sauce. That's pure sauce. All sauce. Nothing else but sauce. Like it's no pasta, only sauce. So I like the progression of that. It just comes in like the nice little plucks, and then adds the atmosphere. Starts off real dark and then goes real bright, and then you get the kind of like half of the wind ensemble right here, and then you got more. And then you add the little, I love this bass line right here. It's really cool. I believe it's actually the same bass line that starts off the song, not the same pattern, but the same same synth. Then you go to the yeah, it's all sauce. Okay, what else would we do? Ooh, okay, I want to show off Volta Extended. This is the best song I've ever made, and I will not. Yeah, I'll never. Oh wow, my voice isn't there. I'll turn that off. I don't want that. I don't want to listen to myself. Yeah, so this is the best song I ever made, but longer. It's even more saucy. You know what? We're just gonna skip to the drop because the drop is honestly the best part of the song. I want to listen to this in Evan's car. This is real stuff. Get that high pass action. Gradually the bass comes in. Ooh, we're getting some glitching going on. I hate my Stupid ASIO, it's horrible. There we go. This is made before I learned how to sidechain properly, so I did it in the mixer tracks instead of the limiters, how I do it now. So sorry, Aaron just texted me back about me being stupid. Right. So, I guess we should go on to the more exciting part of the song where it shifts up an octave. That's where the real action comes in. And then the action comes in more here. Because then you got that, like the sync bass. I actually made that with Sawer. That's a cool plugin. I really like it. Yeah, so, ooh, I have one thing to show off that I know people will definitely like. It's called Obedo. And it's a space term, but it's cool. I like space, if you couldn't tell by all my song names. It's all spacey. Okay, so yeah. Let's look at this. So this right here, this like kind of chord stab and bass thing that you will hear in a second. That's all for my analog synth, and it sounds so good. So we're gonna go here. It's very thick. This is all made with Serum and my analog synth, and some samples, obviously. So thick. It's thick. I need reverb so I can emphasize the thickness. It's dummy thick, as they say. And then that the panning hi-hat coming in. There's a little story with that riser. So, originally the riser sounded like this, and then I replaced it with something from my analog synth, and I hated it, so I tried to make it again, and sort of successfully did so. So, yeah, that was cool. Oh yeah, this this fade in from the breakdown is really good. I'm gonna show the breakdown, and then all of the fade in from it. It's really good. This little synth part is from my analog synth as well. It's just really basic, one oscillator per voice, like low pass, 12 decibel kind of thing. kind of like mousy chords, you know, like dead mousy. And then the reverb comes in, it's so massive. It's gigantic reverb sound. I'm a fan. That like glitchy. It's cool. I like those little sections with the chords because it's like, you know, I kind of envision it as like you're in space and there's all this like reverb happening and kind of it's almost like as much reverb as actual like sound going on, so it's like, you know, it's not super dense or anything, it's just very like spacey. Obviously you can't hear in space, there's no sound in space, but we're talking like we're talking like Star Trek sound physics where you can actually hear stuff, or, you know, Star Wars sound physics where you can hear things exploding in space and whatever. We're talking about that. So yeah, it's kind of like big stuff, not like too dense stuff, but like dense with reverb, and then just for this brief moment every once in a while, like the heavens open up and all this sound like floods out, and it's just like, and it's just massive, just huge reverb, just everything together. It's great. And then it comes from like this, obviously this glitchy weirdness, and then it goes back to just really basic, really saturated with reverb stuff. So yeah, this part right here is all done with my prologue. Here's the little bass. And that's just monoed, no reverb or anything. And then these guys are actually panned to the left and right, respectively, and they have tons of reverb. I could have just made it one, but I wanted to make it sound like thicker and larger, so I panned one to the left and one to the right. So I have basically two voices, or two oscillators per voice on each the left and right channel. So I have, you know, something like 3 or 4 notes going at the same time, which is it's 10 voices at the same time on each channel, so it's 20 voices all together. Just makes a massive, huge sound, especially when you pan it and then put reverb on it and everything. So it sounds huge, and that's exactly what I want. And then the way it starts out is just, the reverb is completely to the wet. Like there's no dry. Like it is all reverb and nothing else. And then it kind of like slowly fades to the more, or should I say less wet reverb sound, less saturated with reverb. You actually hear kind of like the percussion of the bass, because it's like a pluck bass. And then that high pass kick, that is how you build hype. It's the prime way of building hype for a song. It's just high pass kick, and then all of a sudden at some point you have a huge snare come in with tons of reverb on it, and then go to a massive sound with a fat bass and a really thick like kick with a ton of sub, just like that, basically. Got this nice like really thick like wow bass, and then you got the transition from kick is insane, and this part is huge. Just really quick decay, a lot of sustain. It just goes kind of like fades out very quickly, but it's just a lot of reverb. Probably more reverb than the actual snare itself. Okay, so what else do we have to look at? Let's look at some projects on here. From Galactic. Let's look at Dark Bubbles. I showed this off towards the end of my Instagram live stream a long time ago. Actually, it was pretty long ago, honestly. Time is all melding together now, and I don't know when is when. So, sometimes I don't realize it's been 2.5 months since quarantine started. It's kind of crazy to think about. But this is all my analog synth. Only 3 audio tracks. It's this guy over here. So I have the little plucks. I put it here. This is my favorite part. I love the chords in this. They're beautiful. Just resolves so beautifully. So, as you can hear by the audio trail, there's a ton of reverb. It's just like so saturated with reverb. I have this, the little pluck here. This is all from my Prologues, the analog synth. So I have the super saturated with reverb, and then I have the little bass, super resonant. So it's like almost sounds like wet. It's awesome. And then we have the this guy right here is the little, like the sparkle. I think the preset's called Sparkle. It's got tons of reverb. So, a difficult thing about working with analog synths, especially like ones that aren't controlled via, at least on the computer end, is that you have to do all the automation by hand. So I had to wait so long with my hand on the cutoff knob, just slowly adjusting it, making sure I adjusted it at a rate that was good for what I was doing, adjusting it at a good rate, and then just had to start at the right point and end at the right point. So it took, you have to do multiple takes and all that kind of thing, but it's definitely worth it because it analog synths just sound so good. I'm going to show off this project called Atmos. Basically, the thing about this is it's a very, very like ambient focused, like atmospheric track, hence the name Atmos. But yeah, it's supposed to be kind of like a tempo-less track, like a rhythm, not rhythmless, but tempo-less. Like you shouldn't be able to keep time with it, like because it's just a bunch of beautiful space noises all jumbled together. So we have a whole bunch of stuff. This is all from my Prologue, by the way. Like every single bit of it is from the Korg Prologue. It's wonderful. So a lot of these sounds are very wet sounding because they have the resonance turned basically all the way up. So I have this this track right here. This does actually maintain tempo, but it kind of like fades in and out. I just used LFO to assign to the cutoff to fade the cutoff in and out a little bit, and then just kind of looped that. That's the only tempo part. All the rest is completely LFO driving the filter. Actually, most of it doesn't even have to do with oscillators. Most of it is just the filter self-oscillating, which is beautiful, just absolutely wonderful sounding. And then the way it pans across the stereo is beautiful. Just it sounds so awesome. It's just wonderful. Like the stuff that this synth can do is wonderful. This part right here is very wet, like kind of like rubbery sounding. I'm gonna turn up the. There we go. Just like it's amazing to me to think that's all analog stuff doing that, just making such like natural sounding stuff. Like it really sounds like it's, you know, it's alive, like it's talking to you, you know, it has a presence, it has a personality, it has character, and it's just awesome. Just and to think about how, because this is analog and because it's all done with LFO, and you know, it's just the filter is self oscillating with the resonance driven all the way up. None of it can ever be reproduced, ever. Like, I am the only one who could have possibly made this the way it, like exactly the way it is, and that's beautiful. That's the beauty of analog synths like that. Like that little ball dropping effect, beautiful. Just all done with LFO and the self-oscillating synth. And then I love this. It's kind of a sparkle that goes. It's awesome. It's this whole track is just, it's beautiful. It's music without being music, you know? It's kind of just a bunch of mumbo jumbo, like a whole bunch of just a lot of random sounds. And they really truly are random. Like, I was just messing with knobs when I was doing it. And then you get kind of the it sounds so nice. It's really playing this synth is it's truly like talking to a person, and that's amazing. I think it's really important to be able to interact with your music gear that way, to be able to talk to what you're playing, you know, have a conversation with it, have it tell you things and tell it things back, you know. It's very important to do that with your gear. Let's look at some other projects. We have a lot going on, a lot of projects happening right now, starting a lot of things. I believe this is just, oh, that's my mic. That's kind of a cool effect. Woo! Nice. Can I say something stupid into it, like dummy thick? That's awesome. Okay, let's get out of this so we don't have to deal with that. Oh, here's something I want to show off. So I'm working on a synthwave remix of Monophobia that I really like. I'm just gonna show it off real quick. This is bells. Oh, I have that turned on. This is bells for my prologue. Actually, a lot of this stuff is for my prologue. The analog synth. Actually, not as much as I thought, but still a lot. Got that nice. Actually, none of this is quantized at all. I just played this by hand. So, that's pretty cool. I love the bass that comes in right here. It's wonderful. I'm just gonna skip forward a little bit. A little high-passed bass. Wait for it. I would really like to add some distorted guitar to this. That would be really cool. I love this little intersection right here. It's great. It's beautiful. I love everything about it. I love synthwave. I'm just gonna put that out there. Synthwave is just amazing. I think there's a lot that you can do with it, obviously. Actually, why don't I show off some synthwave I made? I'm gonna go to external. I'm gonna go to some stuff I've already released because I think that is equally as important as stuff that I'm working on currently. Here we go. Let's. This is some of my friends' favorite tracks. This is one of my friends' favorite tracks. I think a lot of my friends really like this one because it's just so heavy. It's called Polybius, and a little bit of backstory. It's based on a mostly on a game, like a fabled fictional game from back in the day, and it was really inspired by a video that I watched about it. You've probably seen it at this point. It's a very popular video, and it's really crazy. Just watching it it's an insane experience. Just watching kind of the progression of how, finding out stuff about this mythical game called Polybius and all the crazy stuff that happens with it. It's kind of like eerie and creepy and scary, and this song was kind of based on that, like that fear about just weird stuff. It was just all made with my analog synth and a tube amp that I played my guitar through. This song is just so raw. Like the guitar part is so dirty. It's that's not the guitar. This is the guitar. Just like listen to how raw and dirty that is, and then there's it's so retro sounding and it's beautiful. It's all great. And then we got the little riser effect. It kind of it's creepy. It's really cool. Just I enjoyed making this so much. And then there's a little ambient section in the beginning that's awesome. this was the part that I really liked, that I really enjoyed making, because I love just the vibe, the creepy vibe. Kind of like, it's almost like bells, but not quite. It's really cool. And then when the little plucks come in, you got the cool little, like, you'll see. It's cool. It's really cool. One other thing on this EP that I really liked was Pseudo, and Pseudo was it was the inspiration for the beginning of Polybius, and I think you'll see why. There's just like a lot of atmosphere to it. Oh, by the way, a lot of this stuff doesn't even have like reverb on it. It's just pure from the synth. The synth, this part does have reverb from the synth. It's the reverb that's built into the synth, and that's actually what's kind of creating the swelling effect. Is the synth doesn't change much apart from the cutoff, but what I do to make that like crazy like swelling effect is I actually turned up the reverb manually, like another one of those like manual automation things. Like, listen to this. Like, that's all done with reverb. That's not any cutoff or anything. That's just reverb, and it's beautiful. I really like this. It's really cool. Really, really cool. Just the whole track is awesome. I also had Volta. You've already heard that. Exploit. That's a game that that's a song that I'm working on for a game that, at least the video game edit of it is. Yeah, let's look back. Let's go to Erase. I'd like to point out, so Alive was not the original title of this song. The original title was Marshmallow, or it was Burt Marshmallow. And the original way that it went was actually something like 140 BPM, and it was like it actually just kind of sounded like this. But now I'm just gonna, not save, just reload. Now obviously it's a lot slower. It's more of a synthwave track, and it sounds like this. Oh yes, this part right here. We're gonna listen to this whole part right here because it's wonderful. I love all the stuff I did on this. This song is kind of supposed to be like a, like a, I don't know, like a relief song, like you've just gone through kind of like a, I don't know, it's just kind of supposed to make you feel like, kind of like safe and like at ease. And then once it gets heavier, it's supposed to get more emotional, like, I got through whatever it was, and that's kind of hence the title Alive, just kind of like, that feeling of being alive. And then it transitions to this part. And this part right here is really like heavy emotional part. I love the transition. That's kind of just the part that's supposed to make you feel like, everything's gonna be okay, and we're doing all right. And this part right here is actually like a little. It was kind of actually it was there's a lot of inspiration behind such a simple part. So that hi-hat right there is actually my hi-hat. I sampled my own hi-hat. And then the inspiration behind the little like clicking sound. So let me solo that real quick. So that little part, that's kind of inspired by kind of recently before I made this song. Recently, as in not too long before I made the song, I was going to an event with my best friend later that night, and I had to stay after school to kind of. I didn't really have a way home because I live out in the middle of basically Egypt. I live in the middle of nowhere, like an hour away from my school, which is in Oro Valley. So I had to stay at the school, just hang out. And luckily they were doing, since the event was like partially a band event, because it was a football game, the band was practicing after school. So I just hung out with them the whole time. And while I was there, I was the metronome guy, and that was probably one of the best days I've ever had, because I got the chance to hang out with my best friend more than usual, and that's it's always kind of a not even kind of just it's really just amazing, just hanging out with your friends, especially when you live so far away. It's rare, and so I kind of like cherish it when it happens, and especially when it's my best friend, because she and I are super super tight. We talk a lot, and just hang out in person is fantastic, especially I miss that right now because quarantine. But so that just even that small little clicking noise, like the kind of reminded me of the metronome. It was supposed to like be significant of the metronome. Was just even such a small little bit has a lot of significance for me. So I suppose this song really has a lot of significance. It's kind of meant to represent how I felt, kind of just hanging out with Aaron all day, because hanging out with your best friend all day it's awesome. It's fantastic. I would not trade that for anything else. I wouldn't trade it for making music or playing video games. I mean, obviously I would, playing video games with my best friend is different, because, it's still hanging out with my best friend. But, yeah, so this song is very important to me. I think this is probably one of my most important songs so far. And then, when the guitar comes in, and, it's very emotional sounding. So it's just, it's this song is very, very, very significant to me. So yeah, I think this is every EP that everything I push out is, not just Impulsivity, obviously, but everything I push out is very important to me. I don't necessarily always make songs about stuff. Like this happened to be about, a certain day. And also kind of like, a feeling that you get sometimes. But all of my stuff is it stems from emotions, not necessarily like events or things. Like it's not necessarily about anything, but it all is significant of what I'm, feeling at the time. So it's not just, hey, I made this song, I crapped it out in 5 seconds. I put a lot of, emotion and thought into everything I do, and everything is meticulously crafted, exactly the way I want it. I don't release anything unless it's exactly the way I want it. And I was doing a video with my best friend that I talked about earlier, Erin, where she was kind of like half teaching me how to draw, and she was commenting on the fact that I'm a perfectionist, so I would go back and like redraw something like 20 times before I was like, yeah, that's okay, that's satisfying enough to actually like be part of the drawing. Even though it wasn't even that good in the first place because I'm not the best artist. But I think that's just, goes to show that I'm quite a bit of a perfectionist. Okay, we're going for Polar. Polar is it's another one of the old projects that I kind of dug out and revived from the dead. I actually pitched it up a few semitones, so this used to be something completely different, but now it's kind of a... I like that this song kind of gets big, and then just when you think it's about to get bigger, it kind of like goes like, low key. I love the plucks, although they were a pain to put in this song. Chords are wonderful, but it's a pain. So the chords were a pain because, obviously creating chords as plucks is, interesting. But the chord progression all together is really awesome. It's it kind of doesn't go the way you think it will, but it goes in a way that ends up making sense in the end because it resolves itself, So it's goes a good way. That goes into this whole thing. But why I say it was a pain because the way that the pluck is in Serum, I had to put a limiter like on the pluck chord track because it kept peaking like all the time. Like it's, for some reason, I don't know why, it's just such a loud pluck. So I did, smash a limiter on it, and then also smash a limiter on the master track because it refused to stop clipping in the mixer, and it was horrible. So it was a pain in the butt. Hey, let's go for the Annihilator. So this is a song that started original and then turned into Bear Squids. Like it literally turned into Bear Squids. Like it turned out like kind of ambient and like kind of downer, honestly. And then you're introduced to sorry about that. You're introduced to this little like arpeggio right here. And then if you're familiar with my older music, then this becomes instantly familiar to you. I also love this pluck. It's beautiful. So yeah, just a little context. I've probably explained this many times, but for anybody watching, Attack of the Bear Squids was never a name that I came up with. I will never claim to have come up with that name. That is the creation of my friend Isaac, and so props to him. He's awesome, super awesome dude, super nice. So yeah, thank you for naming probably my most legendary song, and then also sort of for naming the group that I'm in called Bear Squad that ceases to get together because of coronavirus and stuff, and also lack of time because they all have jobs and actual lives. Not me, but other people. I'm talking about other people. I don't have a job or life, but that's cool. So yeah, I think Bear Squids is a good place to leave off the stream. So just before I go, I want to say thank you very much for watching. It means a lot to me. I love making music. You can probably tell that I put a lot of effort into it. So I will have some more content pushed out soon. I will have more survival videos, hopefully, and then more stuff from my masterclass, and probably some more synth demos, and just tons of other stuff. So yeah, thank you for watching.